Hey, I'm Kelly.
I'm Lewis.
We're the Dollyrots, and we're hanging out with Rob
On Front Row Live.
This is like second to last day of tour that you guys have been doing right now.
We have survived.
You have survived. The Rah Rah Radical tour.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this tour. How different is this tour from your previous tours?
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
We're touring on a 7-inch that has like a political message, which we've never done that before. I mean, we've had like political songs, but we've never had like a political release that's like red, white, and blue on the the cover or whatever.
The whole deal.
And and then we're also touring with 2 kids, like both in
They're
like
both mobile. That's different this time. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was a baby and a kid before, and now it's like 2 full-fledged kids.
so like a
And
kid.
we have a different drummer along this round,
Okay.
Justin McGrath. He's in there for Ricky because she couldn't do it this time, but it's been amazing. Like, we started in the snow, and here we are in LA in like shorts and flip-flops.
You just missed like the weather from the last couple days.
I
We
heard.
keep missing the weather, man. We missed like a
This- yeah.
blizzard,
This
and then we
whole
missed like a
tour.
snowstorm, and then we missed like it was like it's
Yeah.
been good. It's been good. Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit more about being a touring band with kids involved, because obviously that makes it more challenging. I mean, touring is already challenging as it is, but what kind of challenges do you guys face when you guys are creating a tour, on stage? Like, what is that like?
I mean, really, we just don't have time to think much about anything. We make very quick decisions and kind of just go with the best that we can do at any given moment, and we don't feel bad about any of those decisions. There's no time.
When we were younger, we'd tour, and there'd be like tour drama or whatever, there's no time for drama. There's no time for anybody to have like arguments because it's like, the baby's gonna wake up. Let's go, And we bring a nanny with us, and so there's just an extra level of responsibility. Like, the show's got to be good every night because it's like, dude, it took some effort to like get these kids like on a flight, get them like in an RV, get them into and out of hotel rooms,
They're
like
happy all day long.
like, find a playground, get them food that's like healthy, that's not like McDonald's or whatever every day.
Yeah.
So every show just means that much more.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes us better personally, even if we're busted tired.
Yeah. And it also, it's the only time where I feel like the two of us as a couple get to kind of feel like our old selves. Like the second like we start the first song, usually like up until I'm like walking on stage, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But the second we go into the first song, it's like we kind of go back to ourselves. And like anybody who's had 2 tiny children know that like it's hard to find those moments. And so we are so grateful that we get to do this because it's like, oh, I remember this. I remember how this feels. It's awesome. And so we're so grateful. Like, we have a lot of people that help along the way.
What was that transition for you guys when you guys were expecting your first one? What was that like? Still continue, because I feel like it's hard for artists to continue these kind of projects. When a baby's involved, especially the firstborn.
I mean, we were mourning for a while. We kind of figured it was over.
Dude, we sold the band van. We were like, all right, we got to get like a crossover or something, like like an SUV.
It was the plan. I mean, we've been together since we were kids, and we always wanted to have a family, but we just kept waiting and waiting and waiting.
And all of a sudden, it's like, oh wait, we're gonna kind of be too old to have to do, and so. We didn't know if the band was if we could do this. Like, we had no idea.
This tour, I was like, they're both going to be walking. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if we can do this.
You never know.
And then we do it, and it works. And
kind of like our philosophy the whole time has been like, all right, well, if we do it, like, they will follow. Like, they will follow us. Like, we don't have to, like, of course, we have to change our behavior or our sense of like what's important for them, but we don't have to change like who we are. Like, they can become like who they are by following who we are. It doesn't have to be the other way around. You don't have to turn into a recluse and like stop doing the things that mean something to you. If anything,
we'd
like
be bad parents if we did that.
I'd be
that's very true.
I'd be really depressed
I'd be
and
bored and like just kind of like angry or something. It's better for them to like be a part of something and to see like you know, something unique and whatever. So.
And to see their parents doing something they like
Right.
growing up, both my parents did things that they loved. And I mean, it wasn't rock and roll. Like my mom was a nurse and my dad was an entrepreneur, but they loved it. You know, my parents didn't complain about work. You know, they enjoyed what they did, and you know, we had fun on the weekends, but you know, it was a very normal life. And you know, I think the most important thing was just, they always told me, like, just do your best and do what you're passionate about. Right. So, not that they loved that this was our choice at first.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, what parent wants their kid to go and pursue a band dream? That's so difficult.
There was a lot of disappointment. Yeah. Oh.
Now they have grandkids though. They don't care.
Yeah.
They made up for all that angst. Like,
But now they're like, but now you're taking our grandkids on tour, like, so we don't even get to see them.
that's the consolation prize, man. That's what they live with. But it's cool. I think in the end, like, it's way better because like they're meeting a lot of different people, and they're meeting people that we've like established relationships with.
They're already making their connections for when they get ready to drop a band.
They want to be in a band, they're going to be well equipped, but we're not going to force them, because the worst thing you can do is be like a dadager or something, be like, you have to be in a band and I'm going to show you.
The things you didn't get to do.
We are going to make them learn piano though.
That's good.
I mean, that's the only thing.
You know what? I regret not learning piano or guitar when I was younger. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to make them learn an instrument.
Yeah, that's it though.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now let's move on to this 7-inch that you guys just dropped. You mentioned this was a more political project for you guys, something that you guys haven't really done before. What led for you guys to do this? And you know, why a 7-inch? 2 songs on the 7-inch.
Well, the song itself was kind of the last one we wrote for Whiplash Splash, our most recent album. And we were in the studio, and I was super pregnant with a girl. And like, I all of a sudden started worrying about what the world was going to be like for my daughter. Right. And, you know, up until then it was like, all right, like my son's got it. Like, I'm fine. Like, you know, it's going to be okay. But then all of a sudden I was just like, oh my God, a girl. And so the lyrics are kind of reflective of that, but it didn't fit on the album. It was just like, it's, you know, we work really hard on the sequencing. Lewis works really hard on the sequencing of the album, and it just didn't flow.
Like a full album, you got to be able to listen to an album from front to back and have it feel. It doesn't have to tell a story. Like, it doesn't have to be like a concept album, but it should feel like it has a general feeling, you know. Yeah. And it just didn't fit. It wasn't that it wasn't good, but it just didn't fit. So we had a couple B-sides. And we got last year we got asked to play Yankee Stadium for Underground Garage, for Little Steven's Underground.
The evil castle. No.
All right, let's go. And like, she's full blown like Dodgers fan, you know. And so we're like,
go in like Dodger gear.
She went in there with her Dodgers hat on. Yeah.
I wore a Dodgers
so only
shirt.
half of you got a paycheck.
It was like a radio thing, so we went, and it was really cool. They had us play before a game, and you know, awesome. And then we get done, and I
mean, it was Little Steven's Underground Garage, who they have been huge supporters of our band since our second record came out.
And they're sponsoring the show tonight. You know, the bands that are playing tonight are all played on that station. It's like, they're really supportive of like underground music. That's the name of their thing. And so Stevie Van Zandt kind of is like the, you know, the head honcho over there. And I guess he's been looking to put out like 7-inches. And so their program director dude came up to us after we played, and he's like, hey, do you guys have any B-sides? We're like, well, actually.
Yeah, we do.
So we sent him the songs. We sent him a couple songs, and he wrote back, and he was like, hey, this Get Radical song. All right, can you, like, do it, except, like, instead of it being minor, can you make it major? Yeah. And I was like,
changes everything.
Yeah, it was so weird.
I was like, wait, you want this dark song to be like major key? That's twisted and crazy. But like, let me try it, you know? So we took it back to our studio, and like, we have a little home studio, and we reworked like the chords or whatever. Yeah. And kind of redid it and sent it to him, and I was like, I don't know, man, it's kind of weird, like changing a song, like it changes the tone.
Well, and it's hard for you to hear it the new way without hearing the old way, so it just kind of, I don't know, sounded it was unsettling in a way.
Well, as the singer, I mean, how does that affect you vocal wise?
Oh my God, it was really weird. It was really hard to like figure out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, once I heard it a few times, I was like, oh, okay, I got it. Yeah. But yeah.
So we just did it and we sent it to him and I was like, I mean, tell me all the changes and we didn't hear back for a few days and I was like, I guess he doesn't like it, you know? And then
it was the Dodger hat.
and then they wrote back and they're like, hey, Steven thinks it's perfect. Doesn't even need a different mix. We're gonna put it out. I was like, okay. That's the rough mix of like from our house. Like
you can hear the kids in the background, everything.
I mean, but that's literally what's on the record. Like, and they've been fully supportive of it the whole way, and we couldn't ask for a better because they pushed us to do it. Yeah. And in the end, it's because of them that we had something to like feel like good about on this tour. Yeah. You know, so
and it's the reason the song is out there, which is cool. And then the B-side, Ruby Soho, we try to do like cover songs of bands that we really love and appreciate, and that maybe some like mainstream kids don't know. And so, and it's a fitting B-side because like Ruby Soho, we were kids. I was like this, like, you know,
it's just so nostalgic. Like,
that's the thing. It's like I almost feel like it's like sacrilege to do a song like that because it's like such an iconic song. It's like taking like, let's cover Smells Like Teen Spirit. But if you look at it, it's like, man, that song's like over 25 years old. Yeah. And there's like a whole generation
that
don't know
doesn't
it.
Even they don't know it.
Exists, you know? And so like we've just been playing it live and like, you know, you see like these like, you know, 15-year-old kids that are just like into it and they don't know why.
Yeah. Love your new song, guys. Like
so song. It's like, yeah, that new song. No, but yeah, we really love that song. So.
Yeah, and I think a good choice. Ruby like went off and started her own band, you know. So that's why it's a fitting B-side. Yeah. That's what you Ruby was like, peace out. I'm not gonna be your coat hanger. I'm gonna start my own band, dude. So yeah, that's why I kind of it fits.
Yeah, no, it definitely fit. I like the choice in songs for the 7-inch. Moving, like you mentioned earlier, it was part of the last album. Whiplash Splash, that album, and majority of your records, you guys were working with John Fields. That's like your producer. Yeah. Now, one thing about John Fields is if you look up his credits, a majority of his credits are pop artists. Yeah. So you know, how did this collaboration really come about? What is it that drew your attention to him? And then
there was an accident.
And then why is he still here?
How fast can we do it? Let's see.
All right. Okay. We had just moved to Los Angeles. We moved out here in 2002, right? 2003, we're just
an audition.
We went on this blind audition. We knew somebody
for The Voice, American Idol.
No,
they weren't even around then.
Yeah, that was way back then.
The dude that we were recording demos with, his girlfriend worked at a publishing company, and she heard about this audition for something. We didn't know
a garage band.
And we didn't know what it was for. We had no idea. And we're like, we got to be at 5 p.m. at this place. Bring your instruments if you want to do it. Right. And we're like, okay, all right, we'll do it, because we're just like young and like ready to go. Like, so we show up and it's like an office or whatever.
So weird.
We go and we like we set up our gear in the corner of this office space, and there's these people at this table talking, and we play our songs, and they get done, and this dude looks at this other dude, and they're like, well, okay. And they asked us to leave, and we're like, all right, I guess we didn't get it. Whatever this is, we don't know what it is. Right. So we're driving home, and we get a call from the lady, and she's like, hey, you guys just landed the Hewlett-Packard new like ad campaign for their new like printing system or whatever. Yeah. You're recording a Capitol Records Studio B tomorrow. And you have a wardrobe fitting at wherever. And we're just like what? Say what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we show up at Capitol the next day. It's like Capitol Records, and we had never been in a real studio before. And they had a session to record this little 30-second version of the song. Yeah. And this guy comes up to us. He's like, hey, man, so I got hired to do this gig. You guys want to record a record? We got all day.
Please tell me you've got a whole record, because, yeah, we've got the studio till midnight.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get there in the early afternoon. We record our 30-second thing, and then the studio exec guys are like, oh yeah, that sounds crappy enough, because it had to sound crappy.
Yeah.
So they left, and they're like, well, you got it till midnight, do whatever. They didn't actually sound like that, but that's the way. Use it however long you want or whatever. And so we recorded 12 songs in like 8 hours. Yeah. And that became our first album, and the producer's name was John Fields.
The guy in the room was John Fields.
And he had just moved from Minneapolis, like at around the same time that we moved from Florida. Yeah. And he was just doing a favor for his buddy, who was the director on the commercial.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's how we met Fields.
We immediately gelled, and like we don't even have to speak. Right. I mean, like in the studio, it's just so easy. He's kind of a band member.
Yeah.
That sounds like such a natural, like everything was meant to happen type of story.
Yeah. So that whole first record was literally
two
like
takes.
Two takes each.
Yeah.
We played
the first take. Yeah. First take was drums, guitar, and bass, and then we would play it one more time, and I would record main vocal, and he'd do a second guitar. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was magic. And so like we went on to do basically every record with him, and you know he went off into like Disney pop world, and we've always been like underground sort of band or whatever, but we've always come back to work.
I like those two mixes. I mean, it's something that doesn't really go hand in hand, but yet you know, it's still there.
It works for us. And it also, I mean, we like the idea of our recordings being as like great as possible, like as perfect as they can possibly be, which is not necessarily us live as a band. You know, I feel like there's plenty of room to be artistic, and you know, in the studio we do layers and keyboards and all this stuff that we don't feel like we have to do on stage. You know, it's a different thing.
Right. You do the rock show on stage.
Yeah.
Like it should be a different experience, you know. Which
otherwise we could just stand up there and hit play, and why bother?
People do.
Now, well, like over the years, as you guys continue to work with him with different albums, how did that kind of chemistry change in the studio? How did he challenge you guys each time? Because, you know, when you would think when you work with the same person, you just get comfortable. But you kind of want to challenge for every new record, for every new song.
He knows how far he can push us, and so he always pushes us like right to the limit. Point. Yeah.
Like on that first record was just like that. On the next one, it was like, let's make it sound huge. On the next one, it was like, let's layer a bunch of pop stuff. And at each time, we were like, kind of like, I don't know. It should be more punk. It should be more whatever.
Maybe like, nope.
And he's always been the guy to like encourage us to make it bigger and better. Yeah. And then after that, it got into like, I started recording the demos, and so he'd be like, well, why don't we use that piece that you recorded? And then I'd like record like more stuff, and he started using more of the stuff that I was doing. And so
at this point
he's basically taught me to do what he does to a large degree. And I can get it like 80% of the way there. Like I can cut. I've learned so much from him that
so like Whiplash Splash, for example.
Yeah, Whiplash, it was like all the basic tracks we cut at home, you know, and then we go to him to finish it off and make it like really good. But that's how he pushes us now. Like he makes me have to like do the work, you know, which is cool because it's like it means that he has confidence that I'm not gonna like screw it up. It's like this is how you mic a guitar, you know, like that guitar's out of tune. Do it again. That's like I can hear him in my head.
It's like that bridge is not good. Like it's not good. Do something else.
He's like, that's just not music. You know, he'll say things like that. He's like, is that Western music or is that like?
He's like, did you mean to do that terrible thing?
While you're excited about that terrible thing.
No, we usually know it's questionable. Try and sneak it by, and he's like, no.
It's good to have a gatekeeper around. You know, it's good to have somebody around that's willing to tell you that, like, hey, that could be better, or that just isn't gonna ever be good. You know, like.
Now, the fact that he kind of taught you guys how to do things on your own before going to him, is it safe to say that now you guys basically write more, record more music on your own?
Oh, yeah.
In between records, in between tours, in between, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Ruby Soho, you recorded the entire thing.
Yeah.
And mixed it and everything.
I did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, both of us. It's like a collective thing. But like, I think it gives us a lot of freedom. Like if you look on like iTunes or Bandcamp or just floating around on the internet, anytime you see like a weird cover by us or like just like some like thing, like who knows, like just random song, it means that we recorded it at home because it was like, we need a Christmas song, let's do it. We need a...
Or Tom Petty passed away and we were both crushed, and so the next day we were like, let's record a Tom Petty song and we'll like donate the proceeds to Midnight Mission. And it was like, you know, we have that ability now, which is awesome. Like,
without having to go and spend, you know, buku bucks at a studio, like, you know.
You save that money so then you can get a nanny for tour.
Exactly.
There you go. You figured out the system, man.
That's how it works. Okay. I got it. So now that we're about to wrap up this tour, you guys have Slide Bar tomorrow. What else is next for you guys for this year? Are you guys planning on another record? Are you guys planning on some more tours?
All of the above. Yeah. I'm working on a duets record with the singer and guitar player Bowling for Soup, Jarrett. And so anyone who knows our band, we have a long history of touring together. And so, I don't know, it was just this crazy idea. Like we were coming off stage one day and I was like, I got an idea. Because we were doing a duet song. And he's like, me too, we should do a whole record of them, right? And I was like, yes. And so it's happening. We're almost finished. So we're going to record that. And then the two of us are going to put something out. We're not sure yet.
We're gonna let the Kelly Jarrett thing kind of start, and then we have two options about what we're gonna do next. It's not gonna be like a straight. I don't think it's gonna be a straight Dollyrots record.
We're not ready.
It's gonna be like a kids album.
Yes, or
like story time, or like
I don't know. I don't know.
Like
honestly,
like a
kids album is
album.
album
is one of the two options.
Nice.
Yeah, because. Dude, we're around them all day, and kids say the darndest things, man. I mean, I could just go through my day and write down all the crazy things they say and just make an album out of it, like, in a week.
But make the music a real album, like, not make the music dumbed down or anything, but just lyrically it would change, you know? Because kids love our music, because I sound like a child, so, you know.
What about some features from the kids?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they already have. I mean, like we sneak them in there. Like they're already on like all over the music. Yeah. But yeah, we got that. We're doing a tour next month with Bowling for Soup in Texas. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do. I don't know when East Coast. Is. Oh yeah, we're gonna do East Coast U.S. later in the year, and we got a couple other like tour announcements, which I don't know if we can. We might be in Florida later in the year too. Okay. So.
Oh, I think it happened. Maybe not. Fest. We play Fest in Gainesville.
In Gainesville. So, yeah.
If it didn't, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but and we're gonna add more dates. We're gonna try to get overseas before the end of the year too. So yeah, we just gotta keep busy, man. Yeah. If you're not busy, you're not like moving forward.
Yeah.